Good morning, you guys. It's your girl Kristen here. It is about 10:30 in the morning. I am getting ready to head to the studio right now, where I'm going to be having a full day's work ahead of me. I've got clients coming in as soon as I get set up, and so I thought, why don't I bring you guys along and show you guys how I open up my room, and then also how I close the room, because there's just certain things that I do every working day to kind of make the day flow a little bit more seamlessly, and then also leading up to the next work day, what I do to kind of prepare for that following day. I think it's super helpful, especially if you're also a solo esthetician, if you're running your own aesthetic studio. I'm going to show you what I'm doing to keep things sanitary and keep things just moving and flowing. So if you guys want to see how I open and close my room, then come along with me and make sure you continue watching. Alright y'all, so I made it. It's about 11:10. I usually like to get here about an hour before, just so that I have time to do all of this opening stuff, get myself in the right mindset. You know, your girl's all about having the right attitude and mindset even before working on a guest. I'm going to kind of just show you what I'm going to be doing to set up for the day. Make sure you watch to the very end so you can see how I close the video, so you can see how I close for the day, because there are some things that I do at the end of the day to make the following day just so much more easy. Today is going to be a pretty busy day. I definitely want to be on top of it. I want to make sure I have everything ready to go for it, so that when people come in, I can just boom, 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 take care of all of them. I'm gonna get changed first so that I'm in the right attire, and then I'll prop you guys up so you can see what else I do. The very first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do things that take the most time. Number one, I have my my table right here, so I'm gonna be turning on the table warmer that I have. So I'm gonna go ahead and plug that in. I'm just going to turn it to the highest setting. Yeah, because I want that nice and warm for when the guest first comes in and lays down on the table. And then I also have my steamer. Plug this in, and I like to just run the steamer to just make sure that it's working properly. Also helps for the water to just be at least warm, so that your first guest coming in isn't just, you know, waiting there for the steamer to turn on, because I've definitely had that happen before. And it's a very awkward 5 minutes. So I'm gonna add more. And then I'm also going to take my bolster side of the table, just so that it's ready to go. And then the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to start getting those hot towels ready, because those also take time. And then I'm also going to plug in the wax warmers right now, so that that can get nice and melted. And even though I don't have a brow client right off the bat, I just always want to have my wax warmed up and ready to go, just in case somebody wants to add in a brow wax or lip wax. That's also another great enhancement to put into a facial or a service, because sometimes they just like, oh, I didn't even think about, you know, or I didn't know that you offered brow waxing. So definitely want to set up your wax right away, so that, you know, that's ready to go for your first guest. I'm actually going to go and fill these with water, so that I'm not running back and forth between. And I don't, honestly, as much as I can, I don't like being in the restroom to do stuff, because it's just not clean in there. I mean, it's clean, but, you know, it's not clean. So I'm going to go fill these up with water. And if you can use already slightly warm or hot water, that's already going to save you more time with them heating up. And so now I'm just pulling out some towels. And I'm going to do about 3 or 4 towels per facial client that I'm going to have. Doing it over this here. So what I do is I fold them in half, and then I fold them one more time, and then I roll it. And then I like having a couple of towels just right here for me to use during the services. So now I'm going to be plugging in the wax warmer. And then, I mean, while I'm at it too, I'm going to be plugging in the microdermabrasion and the LED, just so that they're ready to go. And if you guys want to know where I got any of these equipment, make sure you watch my esthetician room tour, because I linked everything below in that video and talked all about it. And I do have an updated room tour for you guys coming really soon, because there's some cool changes that I've put in this room already. And I'm really excited to share that with you. I'm going to put my SMA right here. I'm going to be taking out my products and putting the ones that I want to have out for display here. And yeah, getting that all set up. Alright, so we got the steamer going. It looks like it's working well, and that's a good thing. So I'm going to turn this baby off. Alright, I'm also going to turn on my sign. Let's put you up here. So I have all my stuff put out right now. I am going to put my things away, and I actually put my bag. I don't leave it out anywhere for the guests to see or have access to, because you never know. And you know what, you want to be careful, especially working for yourself. People might be a little bit more prone to just taking advantage, so you could put it away up in your cabinet if you have space, but just try to find somewhere that's not out in plain view for your guests to see. I also like to just set the mood for myself, like getting ready and all that, so I'm actually going to turn on some music. And let's see. Yeah, so I'm gonna put on some music. I'm gonna be lighting my candles. Actually, I just got this really good candle from Target, and it smells so good. I also have the candles here that I make, so if you guys make or do anything on the side for your business, this is like a good way to advertise it, to have people see your stuff. So make sure you set that up. Yeah, so I'm gonna light this, put on some music. I also have an oil diffuser, which I think having oils diffusing in the room is extremely relaxing. And it just, yeah, every single time someone comes into the studio, they're like, oh my gosh, it smells so good. And honestly, it gets me in a good mood too. And then also here I have my kettle. And I fill this up with water so that I have some ready to go. I also have water right here in this Brita container. Again, everything is linked in my esthetician room tour video if you want to know where I got it from. But this is just so that I have water in the room if I need it. If between, I guess, I don't have time to go and fill up a bowl or whatever. And if you are lighting candles in your studio, make sure it's not near anything that can catch on fire, because you definitely don't want to burn your space down. So my first client today is a facial, so I'm going to be just placing some things here. I already placed my extraction tools here. I have tweezers and scissors here because, she could, want a brow wax. I just want to be prepared. I'm going to take out some gloves. Have that ready to go. A couple of fan brushes, the eye goggles, and of course, if you're wondering where I got everything, make sure you go and watch that esthetician room tour video. Sponges, or whatever you use to wipe the guest's skin. Putting a spatula out if I end up doing a hydrogelly mask. So yeah, just make it look all nice and organized so when people come in, it doesn't look like a wreck. And then I'm just making sure, and I'm checking, do I have, the peels ready? Just making sure everything is ready to go. Brow kit's ready to go as well. So again, that has a lot to do with how I close the room. So make sure you continue watching so that you can see what I do to close up for the day. So the next thing I'm going to do is whatever appointments I have, I'm going to be bringing out the waivers and the forms that I'm going to have the guests filling out. and have that already laid out, ready to go on my clipboard, so that and this has happened a lot, where I'll be working on a guest, they'll be finishing up with their facial or whatever service, and then I get a call from my front door that, you know, somebody's coming, and then they come in, and I'm able to tell my guests, hey, you know what, I got somebody who's coming in, my next client, and usually no one's complained about that. And I go out there with my clipboard and I say, hey, you know, can you fill this out? Because I actually tell my guests to get here about 5 or 10 minutes early so that they can fill out paperwork. So I suggest that you tell your guests that too, so that they can come a little bit early, and then you can just step out and give them the paperwork and they can fill it out while you're wrapping up with your guests that you have on your table. So I find that that's super helpful and time saving when it comes to if you have like a fully booked day. So yeah, I'm gonna get that paperwork ready to go, and I'll kind of show you how I do that. Okay, so I have my really cute clipboard that one of my good friends got me for my grand opening. So this is what I, you know, give to the guests so that they can write on it, and inside actually has a little notepad, which is cool for me to write down any recommendations for them, or, you know, aftercare instructions. I have forms for those actually, and it's a lot easier to just hand them another piece of paper, but my printer has been broken, and right now, like with COVID happening, all of that stuff is like backed up, so I haven't been able to get a new printer. So I've been asking friends and family to print stuff for me, so I'm trying not to overwhelm them with all the forms that I have. So right now I'm just using like the bare minimum that, you know, I really feel like you need, which is the COVID liability release form, the general consent form for whatever service that you're doing for them. And then if they're doing a facial, then I have a client intake form where they fill out their medical history and all that. Again, if you want to know where I got these, make sure you watch my esthetician room tour video. Actually, I pre-fill them out a little bit with their name and the date too, because a lot of times they're like, oh, what's the date? So today, shit, what is today? Hold on. Okay, today's the 17th. I put them in the order that they're going to be arriving. I put them face down, and then I grab another set of forms for the next person. All right, perfect. So now, ready to go. And I'm just going to put the first guest form on the front, and then I'm going to put the other ones in this little pocket here. What's really cool about that too is that you're already fully aware of who's coming in, you know, what services you're going to be doing for that day. If you need anything set up prior, then, you know, you're just fully aware of what your day looks like, and you're just taking more mental notes of that. And also too, this is a time where I kind of decompress. I get myself in the right mindset. I have about 20 minutes to do that. I start to look over the guests, you know, general intake form that they already filled out before when they booked a service. They fill out a form, and so I go ahead and I look at their questionnaire and I read kind of, you know, about their background and stuff. And if you haven't seen my last video, I did a video about retail and upselling, and so check that out if you haven't already, because this is where I kind of review those questions so that I'm ready and I know, you know, what I'm going to be trying to upsell them with and what products I'm going to be talking to them about. I'm just using this time also. I need to eat something, and if you're working for yourself, there's no one to tell you, oh, you need to go on your lunch break now, or you need to go on your 15. This is 100% your business, and you got to make sure you're taking care of yourself. So make sure that you're at this time right before they come in, you're hydrated, you're eating well, you're just getting yourself in that right mindset that you need to just be present for your guests. If you need to text anybody at this point, tell them, hey, I'm about to start working. Gotta tell your boyfriend or your girlfriend, you know, you're busy, because this is the time where you're going to be, you know, making money, and you're going to be taking care of the people that are paying to come see you. So that's how I open up my room. I will check in with you guys at the end of the day and let you know how it went and how I close up the room. So I'll see you then. Long day. Excuse me if my makeup's all messed up, because we don't have to wear these freaking masks all the time now. A very good day. I have to go hurry up and clean this up so that I can go pick up Devin. He's at daycare right now. I'm just gonna kind of walk you through how I close up for the day, and then we'll close out this video. Of course, you know, I just had a facial client, so I'm gonna take off these linens and At the end of the day, I always like to put a fresh set if I have, you know, enough linen. Sometimes I have like a full day's worth of clients, so sometimes I don't have, you know, another set I could put on, but you know, I only had 2 today, so I definitely am gonna put on a fresh set. I'm just gonna take some Lucicide and wipe this bolster down. Kind of like in the morning, the very first things you want to do are the things that take the most time. So that for sure is the sanitizing part. So the implements that you used for the day, your bowls, all of that, it has to go through kind of a process. You have to wash them with soap and water first, and then let them soak in either barbicide or with Lucicide, and then you got to rinse it out and then put it into the UV sterilizer if it's appropriate. So it's kind of a process, and each step, you know, takes about 10 minutes for it to sit in whatever solution it's going to sit in, and then about 10 minutes in the UV sterilizer. So, you know, you need about 20 minutes to do that. So you definitely want to make sure that's the first thing, so that as you're cleaning other things, like if you're like me and you have a child to go pick up, or you know, you got a busy life, then you want to get out of here as soon as possible. So yeah, I do that so that it makes sense, and I'm not here waiting, you know, sitting here waiting for the sterilizer, you know, to sterilize everything. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that. So during the day, I put all of the soiled implements into this little pencil box here that's labeled soiled. So so that I already, you know what I need to sanitize. And then with the high frequency implement, I just spray the towel and I just wipe it down, Lucicide. Because this one you don't want to put and soak it in anything, because it's an electric modem. So just leave it out here to dry, putting away anything that I didn't use. And then at the end of the service, I put the bowl in the cabinet, because I don't really like having this out for the guests to see when they're done. It's just kind of gross to look at. So yeah, just throwing away the sponges. And yeah, so I'm gonna go and wash these with soap and water. Okay, so now I'm just spraying things with the Lucicide that need to sit, and then I'm gonna be placing the implements that need to soak in barbicide. And then I actually have some things from a wax that are sitting in here already, so I'm taking those out. And then I'm spraying the bowl with the Lucicide. Look, that's all this is gonna sit for about 10 minutes. I'm gonna go rinse these off. Now, while all of that is kind of just sitting, hanging out, I'm gonna be taking my products that I used for the day. My skincare products, no matter if I use them or not, I touch them. So I'm going to wipe them down with some Lucicide. Honestly, the last thing you want is for there to be a little like dried product on the tip there, and it just looks gross. You know, you don't want people to see that you don't clean your stuff. And then I'm taking my, you know, more closed products. I'm also gonna wipe those down and actually like open it up and wipe down the head of them. Again, yeah, you just don't want like any like crust left on the top. And then if you guys do use crystals or anything special in your facials, anything that touches the client needs to be sanitized. Now I'm just gonna go and like wipe down everything that was really touched during the service. So wiping down my wax pot on the pen that was used, wiping down the clipboard. And then obviously in between guests, you'll want to wipe down your thermometer. Gonna wipe down my stool. Side of the towel warmer. And now I'm gonna wipe down the steamer. Then I'm gonna go ahead and unplug this too. Turn off my sign. And then I'm gonna wipe down the tops of these. Here. The door handle. And then as far as like sweeping and mopping, I, to be honest, don't do that every single day. I do it every other day because I don't feel like I have so many people coming in here that it gets super, super dirty. But of course, you know, if something gets on the floor, like clean it up. Don't leave the place looking like there's stuff all over. Okay, this is actually another thing I wanted to show you. This, of course, I will mention in my updated room tour coming up soon, so stay tuned for that. But this is my whiteboard. So actually throughout the day, I'm writing on here, I'm writing, you know, how much they paid me for things. So I'm writing here like how much they paid me. Like if someone paid me in cash, I'll write, you know, how much in cash. And then, you know, if they added any enhancements too, Venmo. So then at the end of the week, when I'm kind of evaluating what I did, what I brought in, I refer to these pictures because I take a picture with my phone of it so that I kind of know, you know, what I'm bringing in, because sometimes you just put the cash away and you totally forget about it. And that's important to know, you know, how much cash you're bringing in too, so that you can incorporate that into, you know, like budgeting and stuff. And then what I do is I write for my next working day, which is tomorrow, is I actually go and I write all the appointments that I have for the next day. So I'll put the time that they're supposed to be coming in, just their first name, and then what service they're getting. That way, you know, when I come in the morning, I know exactly what I'm doing, what I need to have ready to go. And then also it's been helpful to write down how much they owe me for the service. So like my policy, I have people giving me a 50% deposit for their service. So they usually have a remaining balance. So I go and I look at my acuity appointment and it shows me how much they paid. And so I write down just like how much that they're gonna owe me for that, for the day of. So that's super helpful because I was finding myself like at the end of the service being like, oh shoot, like how much does this person owe me? And I was like touching my phone and like it just looks unprofessional. So I just want to have like everything ready to go and know like, okay, this person owes me, you know, this amount. Okay, and then this whiteboard can actually be really helpful too. Like say during the day you're like, oh, I need to buy this, or I need more distilled water, I need to refill this, or whatever. You can just quickly jot it down right here. It's a good place to have just to immediately put it down so that you don't forget, and that's super helpful. I know it's really, really helped me to stay organized. And then, okay, so it's been about 10 minutes. So I'm gonna go ahead and just like rinse the things that I had put in the barbicide and here, and then I'm gonna throw them into the UV sterilizer. Okay, so I just placed any of the implements that I use, the goggles, fan brushes, spatulas, extraction tools, scissors, tweezers, all of that go into the sterilizer. The facial globes. These bowls I'm going to have laying upside down with access to air. I'll show you. So they're kind of, you know, still air can get in. And then I'm going to turn off my wax pot and everything. I'm just going to unplug everything. Now I'm going to put on just a new fresh sheet. And this is how I do mine. I put a towel above the Sherpa liner. So the thing I wanted to show you, thanks for continuing to watch. Okay, so I have another clipboard and it's just a list of closing procedures and I switch it out every week. because you do kind of want to keep some sort of documentation inside of your studio of how you're cleaning and how often. I just go through this list really quick to make sure that I did everything. So yes, I wiped down all surfaces, steamer, hot towel cabinet, doorknob, hand sanitizer. See, and I'm glad I looked at it because I forgot I need to wipe down the client mirror, the stool, the pens, wax pots, products, put away products in the cabinet. Windex the mirrors, I only do that on every other day. Empty the trash, so I'll need to do that. Take out the laundry, which I will with me. Put a fresh sheets on the table. Turn off all electronics and unplug anything that's not going to be used. Completely strip the table of linens and wool liner. I only do that once a week, so pick whatever day of the week you want to do it and do a complete strip of everything that's on here. So the wool liner specifically needs to be washed. I do the white vinegar in the steamer, which helps to clean out the steamer, so I do that on Saturdays. And then I wrote here, do you need more distilled water? No, I don't. And then replenish disposables. So I'm looking at my disposables right there and they seem pretty full. So I'm gonna check that. And then turn off the hot towel cabinet, and I will do that. And yeah, and also at this point too, I check to see if I need to replenish any like products or if I, need to refill on the peels and stuff. So I'm actually gonna do that right now because I know I need to. And then I'm gonna take out the trash. Alright, so now I'm going to be taking the laundry out with me. You definitely don't want to leave any soiled laundry in your room. That's a big no-no. And yeah, so what's cool is that I'm already kind of like ready and set for the next day, like new fresh sheets, everything's refilled, the whiteboard's up to date. So yeah, I just need to make sure I turn off everything. And for the stuff in the sterilizer, some of it is still wet. So actually I turn off the sterilizer and then I actually leave it open so that it can air out, and whatever was in there sanitizing can kind of dry up as well. Okay, so double checking, making sure I turned everything off. Yeah, that does it, you guys. I hope you found that this video was helpful. So if you have any specific questions, make sure you comment down below. So I will see you guys next week on Thursday on my channel, and of course, I'll see you guys then. Bye.